Hello, everybody. I'm Alfred, and I would like to talk about the first female soldiers finishing the Ranger School as the US military goes full blown woke. Now, you see, going woke has clearly decreased the standards of the Ranger School, and even though the school officials officially, say that they haven't reduced the standards, that those women, you know, pass the tests, and they have videos showing the women going through some tests. Everyone who graduated from that Ranger School has said that they reduced the standards. Now, you have to understand that there are moves on every side to decrease the strength of the US Army. From a trans army bringing transgenders into the army, taxpayer funded transsexual surgeries, turning men into women within the military, the effeminization on a transgender level of the men in the military, organizations like BIG, which is Blacks in Government, which is basically a BLM for government organizations within government organizations, from the CIA all the way to, um, the IRS. Affirmative action promotion in the military, LGBTQ quota diversity in the military, leaving weapons in Afghanistan, also the defunding of the Pentagon. The list goes on and on. There's so much that shows that there are moves on every side to decrease the strength of the US Army. Understand that when that happens, that automatically makes the other armies better and greater and bigger. Why is that? And this is the problem when a nation allows itself to be controlled by outsiders and by outside investors and outside interests, especially when nations join all kinds of weird organizations like the UN, the African Union, all these weird organizations that the presidents of different nations pay attention to are not its own people. And most of the people who are in all these organizations like the UN, they decide who is going to be the ruler in certain nations. For example, look at what is happening in Australia. If the Iraqi government, or if it was the Russian government that were treating its own citizens the same way the Australian government is treating its citizens, bringing armored cars out onto the road and chasing after people who are not wearing masks and beating them up and putting them in prison for not wearing masks. If that was happening in Iraq, it would be like, oh, it is an abuse of humanity. It would be this, it would be that. Imagine if um, the leader of North Korea was doing this. Look at what happened with Gaddafi. These organizations work hand in hand with the media, and anybody that they do not like, they make that person out to be a terrorist. But there are other people that these people partner with, that these organizations partner with, that do worse things to their people, that it hushes the word, mom is the word, nobody talks about it. The same people that will complain, oh, this is a human rights abuse, when it's their own friend, somebody that they have appointed to be the president of another country, when it's them doing it, they will keep quiet. You see, if Russia was treating its citizens the same way that Australia is treating its citizens, there would have been an excuse for war right now. You see, the US people, you know, you guys need to have guns yourself, which is good. Many of you have. For those of you who do not have, you need to get one. And you need to start your own private government boot camp. You the people, as in we the people, you need to start your own private government boot camps that maintain and raise the bar on training standards. Because if the US is invaded, a woke army is not going to win. You will all end up being dominated as slaves. And out goes all your feminism and all your wokeness and all of that. Because just like the Taliban is going to do what they want, whoever dominates you, they don't care about your woke nonsense. They don't care about your BLM and all that nonsense. They don't care about your affirmative action. You would see that you will live under way worse conditions than you previously were and you were complaining about and saying America is racist. It's funny how all the Haitians want to go to America that is so-called racist. It's funny how all the people of African descent and everybody who is dark-skinned want to go to the so-called racist America and are doing all kinds of things, risking their lives on tumultuous journeys just to do it. You know, also the funding for such an organization needs to come from, rendering security services. That's one place it can come from. It can also come from donations from patriots, and also owning and managing and also developing, building weapon systems. So there are many ways, even if a hedge fund is established, so it is money from a different market, that is funding it, but such a thing needs to be done. The people have to have their own indigenous army, and that is actually how America was founded, by the people having their own army. Those are the people who founded America, and they went against the king and the queen of England, the leaders of the day, who wanted to oppress them. So there may be a need for a second such revolution for America to maintain its freedom. You know, when the American leader was asked, "What kind of government do we have?" After they have deliberated and all of that, he looked at them and said, he looked at the leader, asked him and said, "A republic, if for as long as you can keep it." So apparently the republic is being threatened. For more, check out Alfredo's VIP.